probably is live now. There we go. That looks like we are live. Fab.
Fab. Hello.
There we go. Right. Chat's working. Fantastic. Right. Let's get going.
Brilliant. I've just gone on to Monkeyseat, the YouTube, and the first thing I hear is "hello" from me. So yeah, I'm sorry for everyone that's live.
To each other goes Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez.
Bottas took out too long.
And at the back, that's George Russell out of this race. Daniel Ricciardo makes contact there with Kevin Magnussen, and there's a second contact.
Yeah, you can really hear that. But yeah, anyway, yeah, breaking news. We've just accidentally, this wasn't planned. We just accidentally.
I literally came in from work, sat down, and I was like, oh, it's broken, by the way. Like, cool, let's start. So let's go. Straight into it.
This is the news that everyone knew was coming and we would expected. But yes, Yuki has gone. Well, he hasn't gone. He's just staying in one place, being that he's now a test reserve driver for Red Bull Racing. That is hit the big sort of news. But yeah, look, we'll come to him in a bit. What it does mean is that rest in peace, Isaac Hadjar, your time is over, but you are now moving into Red Bull.
And I'm assuming Lindblad then, because I've not seen this yet. I'm assuming Lindblad then is...
Yeah, Lindblad and Lawson has stayed. I don't know how Lawson has managed to survive. He's like the turd that keeps on giving. Hadjar is gone. Owens just jumped on and said, Hadjar's career has now died. He'll be in it for 2 years. He'll end up either back in Racing Bulls or until Verstappen leaves Red Bull, no one is going into that. If I was Hadjar, I would not go into that seat. I would be like, no, I'm grounding Racing Bulls where I'm actually able to win something or at least get points.
I think this might be the perfect time for Isaac Hadjar.
What?
Because we're now going into
What's the perfect time?
We're going into a completely new rules and regulations set. Now, what you've seen is the time when Ricciardo was alongside Verstappen, like the previous rule set, he was very close. Now, I know that then when he got with Perez in 2021, Perez, it was his first year with the team, didn't really do that well. And then it all kind of went downhill from there.
But it's not as if Isaac Hadjar can go in and start going.
He's not going to win.
You have to. But you have to give me equal opportunities to Verstappen. You have to make this car for me as well as Verstappen.
But that's
not going to happen. It's just like, well done. You are a second place driver, and you were doing so well in that Racing Bulls.
But look. I think it might be. I'm not going to say he's going to go in and win races over Max Verstappen. He might win the odd race here and there.
He's never going to win anything.
I mean,
as Owen said,
yes, about the power unit. Yes, shit. No, that's fine. We don't know. We don't know that for sure.
We don't know anything. We're just guessing that.
Yes, but Owen thinks
company cannot make a car engine. But who thought that a chemical company could make one of the best 4x4s in the world?
Yes, but Owen thinks that Audi are going to win next year. So what he doesn't know can pretty much fill a room. So that's fine. I just think that this is a good opportunity because, especially if that power unit is, as Owen puts, doo-doo, it's
it's shit.
Look how disengaged Max Verstappen got earlier in the season when he thought he didn't have a championship where he could win. He could be leading the championship right now had he not just decided to go and play with other things because he couldn't be bothered with Formula One.
I think that revitalized him to go and play with other things.
Potentially, but
mentally, health-wise,
all of a sudden, when Red Bull were competitive again, he was back all over it and streaks ahead of anyone. So, I think that a disengaged Max Verstappen alongside eager to prove himself Isaac Hadjar. I'm not saying that Hadjar is going to beat him because he's not, but you might find he's a bit closer than Max Verstappen would want. And then if the car is uncompetitive and Hadjar's close to him, maybe he decides he doesn't want this.
But like the thing is Hadjar didn't really have anywhere to go this year because he hadn't shown his form before everyone started playing silly circus. And so he had to stay in Red Bull. Why would you not stayed in racing in
I think as a competitor, why would you not? Like, why wouldn't you back yourself to be the person to go in there and take it to Max Verstappen? Let's be honest, in an RB, what's the best that's ever going to happen?
Have you seen the role pool of amazing drivers?
Yeah, I know, but in an RB, a competitive racing driver who wants to be world champion, if they're racing for RB, the best they're going to get is the occasional podium. They might snipe a win in the once in their career in a once in a lifetime race. It's not going to happen. They're not going to be world champion in RB. They're not going to win races in RB. They're likely not even going to get podiums in RB. They might get the one every now and then.
Is that because it's less funded and smaller team, or what is that reasoning? But what makes Red Bull that we're suddenly?
It's the Sky Sports halo of F1 teams. It's the little sis of the Red Bull team that they don't really give a shit about, and they're thrown there as a token gesture to try and train up the younger drivers. So it is a test bed.
But that's
all it's ever going to be. So if you're in that team, you're always going to be second best. Why wouldn't you go? You either leave that organization altogether or you step up to the big team. No one has a future in the RB team. Like Lawson doesn't have a future in the RB team. Like
he's just waiting his time to.
Gasly got burned by the Red Bull. Gasly got burned by Red Bull, was stuck in back into Toro Rosso, and then ever since then, that was never going to happen again for him. He was never going to go back up, so he left the organization altogether.
How long before Lawson is kicked out? And
Lawson's never going to go back to.
And Tsunoda comes in and drives.
Well, I don't think he will. Well, it depends. Like if Lindblad comes in and absolutely destroys Lawson, then they might think about it.
And like I don't know much about Lindblad. I only have eyes for one F2 driver. How has Lindblad done? What is Lindblad?
I've got to be honest, I've not had the time to follow F2 very much at all this season, but from what I understand, he's not had a stellar season. I've only managed to watch 3 or 4 races, but the ones I've seen him in, he's not been spectacular. I know he's won a couple of races. He was in the championship fight, but I've not looked at the standings, so it's not looking great. But yeah, I think from Tsunoda's point of view, I would have rather seen. Why wouldn't you just go
Lindblad finished 6th behind Dunn.
Yeah, okay. So from a Tsunoda perspective, why wouldn't you then you're not going to get back in at Red Bull. You're only going to be there as like the sort of Damocles hanging over Lawson or Lindblad's head. You're never going to get back into that Red Bull team. So now I would just be cutting all ties with Red Bull and backing myself, because he's not going to get back in F1. He might get a reprieve in RB until the next big, next cab off the rank comes along for Racing Bulls. So I don't think it's worth him even staying in the organization. Why be a reserve driver in a team that doesn't want you when you could be a reserve driver in a team that does want you? But I'm talking like a Haas, like a Haas or a. Yeah, I know it was, but the reserve driver positions are still available. Why wouldn't you align yourself with like a Haas or a Honda? Something like that to maybe go in as the reserve driver at Aston Martin with a lot of Formula One experience.
Well, why would he not go to fucking Aston Martin? It
depends if they want him, obviously, as well. They do have lots of drivers.
But the Honda thing's there, and Honda's got some sway.
Honda would like it, I'm sure, but also Honda had some other drivers as well coming through, so they might want some other drivers to take up that reserve role. So, but I would certainly be backing myself and putting myself in that position to be a reserve driver in another organization away from Red Bull, because he's never going to get back in at Red Bull. Certainly at the end of next season.
Yeah, he might end up in a Racing Bulls just for the sake of it. But
if someone gets injured or if someone's underperforming, then he may end up being the guy that drops in.
Bearing in mind, you've got someone that finished 7th in Formula 2 and Lawson. So, and I do think Yuki is probably better than both those.
Potentially. I think you've seen all you're going to see from Lawson. He came in 2021, so he's had 5 seasons now. He's shown that. Yeah,
Jesus, it feels like
it's shown that he's not. He's never going to be a world champion. He'll only be a race winner in certain situations. He's definitely fast, but he's never matured into a great Formula One driver. So, 5 seasons, you've very much seen everything you know about Yuki Tsunoda. So I don't see him getting back on the grid. But,
Would you not?
Barring somebody dropping out.
I'm surprised he hasn't gone over to Cadillac.
But again, they wanted 2 experienced drivers, and I think you would go with Bottas and Perez over that.
Oh,
and you've got Colton Herta sitting there.
Yeah, so you've already got the American hero sat there. So yeah, I didn't think Lawson was in since 2021. I think he's only been in.
I'm talking about Tsunoda. Who are you talking about?
Oh, us too. Yeah. No, I
was constantly talking about Tsunoda there. Clearly, I was saying 2020. He's been into 2021. You've learned all you know from Tsunoda. I definitely was not talking about Liam Lawson at any point.
That's what I was confused about. Anyway,
no.
So I'm glad I wasn't the only one because Tom.
No, Lawson did a part season in 23 and a part season in 24.
Yeah. Anyway, Lawson's going to have a shit season. Tsunoda
it will be.
Gone.
To be fair to Lawson, this will be the first time he's done a pre-season in a car that he's going to do more than 2 races in.
Yeah.
So he might actually. Lawson's fine. Like again, similar level to Tsunoda, except we don't have enough. We don't have enough of a meter on him yet to say for certain, because he's still not had a settled season. I'm not saying he's a rookie. God, no, I'm not saying he's a rookie. But he's only had 30 races. So, and it's been over 3 seasons in different cars, and it's been a lot of the time it's been at short notice. He's been promoted and dropped. He's not had a fair crack at it.
Lead driver.
Yeah, exactly. He's now going to be the one coming in as the lead driver in an RB team with a pre-season. He's going to be the yardstick. This is his last chance in F1 now. So I never thought that he was just absolutely, nailed on for Formula One in the first place. But I'm glad he got an opportunity. He definitely took his opportunity when it came. But then when the big opportunity came, he didn't. So
no. And I think, look, Lindblad, we'll have to see. I don't know much about him at all. I don't even know which country he's from.
He's British.
Is he British?
Yeah, you wouldn't think so with a name like Arvid Lindblad. But...
No.
Yeah, so how many is that then? Is that 5 or 6 Brits on the grid now?
If you're counting Lindblad as Brit, which I'm sure he is, I don't know.
We're not counting. We're not counting
George
Albon.
Russell. You're not counting Albon. Okay.
No, because he's
George
tight.
Russell, Hamilton.
Yeah, Norris.
So
Russell, Hamilton, Norris. Who are we forgetting? Behrman.
Is that it? 5.
I think that's it. And then Lindblad now as well.
Yeah, so 5.
I think that's it.
I've
forgotten anyone. No, I think that is it. That's got to be it. It's 5. So it's 5.
Yeah.
5 Brits on the grid. That's a quarter of the field of British.
Yeah. So look, it'll be grand. He's a British license. His dad is Swedish. I don't know why you have to say Swedish. Yeah. There we go.
Well, we don't, but you do.
Yeah, Swedish. Yeah, so his dad's Swedish, but he doesn't look Swedish either. He looks like I'm gonna sneeze.
Go for it. Live on air. Don't get snot on the lens. Here we go. This is gripping stuff.
Oh, it stopped. It didn't come. That's the wrong more.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
That's what he's going to be saying about Isaac Hadjar as he comes tearing past him. Can you imagine with these new rules that he fucking owns Verstappen? Just that the car somehow good for him more.
Can't see it. I can't,
but it'd be fucking hilarious.
I'm just going to yawn because I've been flat out all day.
Right, so he's yawning. I'm not sneezing.
No, that's gone as well. That's gone as well.
Oh, that's even worse.
We're doing well. We're doing well. Cool. Okay.
So anyway,
are we done on that?
There was 2 races this weekend. Yeah.
There was 1 Grand Prix and a sprint. So yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, because there's nothing else more to say than rest in peace, Hadjar, and rest in peace, Tsunoda.
Oh God, it is so hard being a Lando Norris fan sometimes. Oh, he did not have a good weekend, did he?
No, he really didn't.
He screwed up in SQ3.
I know, to be honest,
he screwed up in Q3. He screwed up at the start, and he screwed up in the race as well, damaging his car. And then he got lucky. He got very lucky that that Antonelli waved him by. Conspiracy theory, he waved him by. No, clearly not. He nearly crashed.
It was really obvious that he didn't wave him by.
What Norris did in the race.
Comment from GP that he hadn't seen the live as to what happened. He was really confusing.
Yes, but it was
a tongue-in-cheek, dry, humoured thing from
which
GP.
we see from GP a lot. To be fair, he's always enabling. He's always enabling Max Verstappen's behaviour. Yeah. But for then Helmut Marko to perpetuate that post-race.
I mean, if Max said something, I could understand it. If that Max said the comment, I could understand it. But it wasn't. It was someone who saw the replays, saw what happened, in theory, with his one eye.
He saw it, but with very little depth perception.
Had no idea where it was or how it was going. And that's what didn't help the situation at all. Look, the David Coulthard comment, he's a pundit. He's enabling
with a lot of influence.
Tom's just gone. Also, TV directors knew what they were doing.
Broadcasting the message. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. I was like, no, TV directors never know what they're doing.
That's true.
I'm not denying they've got to look at 100 cameras or whatever and try and work out which shot to go to and follow the story of the race. But no. But yes, they.
But to be fair, that's just good television. Like, media are only going to broadcast what is said. Yeah. They don't make stuff up.
No,
like unless you're Netflix,
they are following the stories.
Yeah, unless you're Netflix, all they can do is broadcast what is being said, and that is great television. But like that was just an off the cuff comment, which is easily disproved by looking at a replay.
Oh yeah, and of course
I don't really blame GP for that because he's having a conversation with his driver, and he finds the best way to get Max riled up is what gives him the speed. So that's fine. Like I was disappointed with the comment from David Coulthard. I didn't realize how much backlash there would be towards Antonelli, which is just abhorrent. And I can't,
that is just.
Like, but
I don't even understand why. What the fuck does it matter? If Max Verstappen wins, if fucking Stroll wins the championship, or if everyone for some reason gets taken out and DNF for the whole season except Carlo Pinto, and he somehow scores a point on next weekend, I could not care less that they are world championship. I'm not going to go threatening to kill anyone. Like, I'd be like, oh, that was a bit of a dick move. But like, even say that, why would you even go onto someone's Facebook or Instagram and say that? If you're not got anything better to do? I know some people's lives are F1, and I completely understand that.
Yeah. But the thing is, you're disappointed, like after, obviously I'm not a Max Verstappen fan, but
there's not being a fan and there's hating someone.
Going back to 2021, I was absolutely distraught about what happened in that finale. But at no point did I have a go at anyone online because of it. If I might have replied to a few comments where people were saying, people were having a go at other people, but at no point would I have been attacking somebody for it, especially not Max Verstappen. He just won the championship.
I would be like, you're being
at no point, at no point would I have attacked Max Verstappen on what happened in Abu Dhabi 21 because what he did was fantastic. But all he did was win the race.
Yeah,
which was all he could do, and that's all he can do this weekend as well. Win the race, and then just see what else happens behind him. Fortunately, Massey and Latifi aren't involved, so there might be.
So if you are a Max fan, don't be a fucking dick. Okay,
yes, everyone, be like Tom Downey. Be like Tom Downey. Be hilarious. Be wrong.
But don't be a dick.
Yeah.
And to be fair, he makes the point that also Max and Kimi are mates.
Yeah, exactly.
Like brothers.
It's never there's never going to be anything like that. Like this, it's not. Look, the whole thing. What David Coulthard said, if you didn't hear it, if you weren't watching on F1 TV, he said that he thought Mercedes would just wave Lando Norris past because he believed that Mercedes would rather lose a championship to Honda than lose a position to McLaren. Yeah, sorry, the other way around. Would rather lose a position to McLaren than a championship to Honda.
Yeah, they're not going to gain. Mercedes are not going to lose anything by McLaren driving past.
Yeah,
there's nothing at that point.
And it's fine to think that, but I think it's bad form to broadcast that when you are supposed to.
I think that's a public. I think that's an opinion. It's an insight that actually mathematically that does make sense. Why would you,
I don't think as an expert, like I think as a pundit saying after the race is something you could say in hindsight.
But he is
possible.
also a driver who has been there and been in those.
Obviously he's a Red Bull ambassador and he's raced for Mercedes-Benz as McLaren Mercedes. So like clearly he does have an insight on that. But I just think he has a journalistic responsibility being in that position that he is in to not say those kind of things. I don't think, because you see how many conspiracy theorists are out there at the moment saying all kinds of stupid stuff. So I just find it, and I'm a huge DC fan. Like I was
between Stranger Things and the F1 conspiracies, I am all conspiracy down.
Right. Well, I've never watched Stranger Things, so I have no idea what that reference is. So,
but there's lots of conspiracy theories at the moment as to what's going to happen.
I would just believe you on that.
Anyway, but like there's a lot. But it's all right to have a conspiracy theory. It's all right to have an opinion. But when you're not involved, okay? David Coulthard is not involved in the company dynamics.
I was less offended by him as I was by Helmut Marko.
That's what I'm saying. He is a pundit. He has his own agenda, which is sell more views to him. Do you know? There is no... What is Helmut Marko's agenda apart from being a fucking dick?
Oh, yeah.
Like, there is no agenda on that. Even if he believed that that had happened, surely the right thing to say is, I need to review it because I believe there's something going on, but let's have a look and see whether, there might have been some conspiracy there, but let's have a look at it. Like, that's all you need to say.
Why would Helmut Marko let the truth get in the way of a good complaint?
Oh, yeah. As they say, don't let the truth get in the way of a good lie.
Yeah, good story. The entire organization is all about victim culture. That's literally how they go about
my chicken just came up to the window and then just shat and then walked off.
Well, clearly a Max fan.
Jesus, thanks, chicken. Welcome to my world of my chickens. Yeah, I don't even know which one.
This is great content.
Anyway, so where was I? Anyway, don't be Helmut Marko, don't be a dick.
Yeah.
So we've now talked about everything apart from the race, really. Apart from that moment, I mean, look, it's a boring track and it was an exciting race on the boring track. The conspiracy theory is, could the tyres have survived longer? Or
yeah, absolutely.
Was this a play at the Monaco to try and make a very boring race?
No, it was based on safety concerns. I think the FIA are being fully sincere in that, but the fact that the tyres had this mandated stint leg, which meant everybody was then able to push flat out all the time.
Yeah.
So that meant that McLaren's advantage was dramatically reduced in the race. And I think that's kind of what won Max the race in the end, because although I think that obviously there was the failure to make the pit stop, which was a huge blunder, but McLaren didn't have the pace to stretch out after that. And I think that's because nobody else was looking after their tyres, whereas McLaren famously are much better on their tyres. I think if we don't have this mandated stint length, as well, firstly, we won't get everyone stopping.
I thought you said mandated stint length there.
Well, there is a mandated stint length and it's 10 seconds. Yeah. So without that mandated stint length, you don't have the performance advantage anymore because of that stint length. So I think that's probably what's won Max the race, because they weren't able to just push flat out while everyone else was saving tyres.
Sorry, but I love how Helmut didn't. No one turned around and went, "Oh, look, Hulk obviously wants a Red Bull to win."
Right. So I have a question to ask. Obviously, I watched this on F1 TV. Did you watch it on Sky?
Yes.
Right. What was the commentary saying about the tyre choices for the second stint? When everyone came in and fitted mediums at the pit stop, were they saying, are they going to be fitting, they're going to have to do 25 laps on a set of softs, or were they saying everybody has to fit hards?
No, Bernie Collins was very open that, they never really mentioned it. Obviously, they were talking about McLaren's being on the softs because that made sense.
Yeah.
They were saying that maybe.
So were they surprised that Max Verstappen fitted hards when they thought the softs were an option? No. Okay, because on F1 TV they were saying it was basically everyone's going to have to make softs last for 25 laps. Yet they'd already said earlier in the broadcast that nobody had new softs left, which meant all of the softs were used, which meant
they couldn't have been.
Yeah, nobody apart from people that qualified outside the top 10 would have been allowed to fit softs. So when they put Verstappen on the hards, they're like, oh, they've gone conservative. I'm like, no, they fitted the only tyre they were allowed to fit because they didn't have any new softs, so they couldn't put him on softs. And it really annoyed me because I was screaming at the telly, but I was just like, why are they saying people are going to be putting them on softs? They're not going to put them on softs. They haven't got any softs.
They could have gone on to softs is McLaren. Yeah, because they could have gone for the last 7 laps.
And people that qualified outside the top 10, they would have had a new set of softs still available.
Yeah.
So, apart from people, unless people did 3 runs, I didn't watch a lot of qualifying, so I can't be certain. But that just really annoyed me. So F1 TV,
I think quite a few runs deliberately because they knew they weren't going to really trust the softs in the final race.
Yeah. I mean, they could have done, if there hadn't been a safety car. I literally, before the race started, I watched it on a slight delay. But I hadn't seen anything. And I said to my wife before the race started, I said, I bet you there's a safety car on lap 7. I literally said that. I was like, damn it, I wish I'd been live on I'd been able to say that in the Grid Talk Slack because that would have been amazing clairvoyance. I literally said, I bet there's a safety car on lap 7.
And it was the perfect time for everyone.
Yeah, it was the only time. If it had been, you know what? If it had been 1 lap earlier, it would have screwed everyone. Everyone would have had to 3-stop, and there would have been or not stopped under the safety car, and there would have been more strategy variants.
How much bullshit did you smell when they turned around and when the Mr. Olympic champion, actually might not be Mr. Olympic champion, might be the other one, turned around and said, "Oh no, we're staying on. We have the options." Did they fuck it? Or was that planned?
No. So they completely underestimated how much pace they would have. And I think what it comes down to is that they knew that being the first garage in the pit lane, Oscar probably had the gap to then come in, stop, and get out before anyone else got in. Mm-hmm. But Lando definitely didn't. And he would have then been shuffled back 4 or 5 places because the entire queue may have gone past, or certainly some of the queue would have gone past. He probably would have dropped down to about 6th place as a result of that. So I think McLaren, wanting to be fair to their drivers and then thinking we've probably got enough pace in hand to be able to pull this back anyway. Yeah. I think that's the reason why that they've decided to not do it. So conspiracy theorists are then going to say, well, clearly they're favouring Norris because they would rather, not disadvantage Norris. But what I say to them is, do you honestly think that then allowing Max Verstappen to win the race rather than Lando Norris losing a few positions, which gives Verstappen a huge championship swing and makes him now, second favourite for the championship? Would they rather lose a championship to Max Verstappen than let Piastri win over Norris? And I don't think anyone can honestly think that McLaren would rather lose a world championship than even if they were favouring Norris. Would they rather lose a championship to Verstappen than let Norris get beaten by Piastri? Nobody would surely think that.
I think people do think that.
I think, well, okay. Sorry, let me rephrase the answer. Surely no sane person would think that.
It's a hard one because why didn't they do that? Why didn't they pit Piastri and fuck off Norris down the track? Why didn't they do that?
Like I said,
that's the most sensible idea. To pit Piastri and fuck off.
The comment of zero flexibility, fine, yes. If there was another safety car, then that meant that McLaren were in the box seat. They thought they had the pace because they had just obviously made a miscalculation.
But that would have, even in a clever way, they could have popped Norris up front, clean air. I know Piastri was possibly faster this weekend, but, it would have made more sense to put him in the clean air, put Piastri behind him on fresher tyres and let them race.
I mean, it wouldn't have got to that because Piastri was never even going to catch Verstappen. So the only thing they then could have done would
he would have catched Piastri. He would have catched Norris with no tyres.
Well, no, because Norris would have been out there in clean air. Well, yeah, because
but he's behind
because of the safety car queue. Yeah. So the only thing they could have done would have been deployed Norris to try and keep Verstappen with Piastri.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Norris isn't going to back Verstappen into Piastri to help Piastri's championship. I would be surprised.
I think they could have. That would have given him the better chance. Yes, he fucked it in qualifying.
Him losing it and that great save, but damaging the underside of the car, his mistake completely. That's where his chance of a podium went out the window. He was nailed into 5th place. The fact that Piastri didn't win the race and Antonelli made a mistake massively rescued the situation for him.
Yeah.
Him finishing 3rd was still all he needed was to finish 3rd in the last 3 events and he'd be champion. And he's finished, the end, he's finished 3rd and 4th, but because Piastri didn't win.
Yeah, Max has said it, and this was that he has got to where he's got, not by his skill, but by other people's failures. And that's what
where he is now.
That's what Max said. The second half of the season is not. He's driven that car as best he can, but it's not the best car on the track. The only reason he's in this,
it is sometimes, but not always. But it is sometimes. Definitely, McLaren should.
In this favour is because McLaren have obviously hired a load of Ferrari engineers.
McLaren absolutely should have seen out the championship by now, but it doesn't take an awful lot to have done that. You've obviously got the drivers under huge pressure going for the first world championship. They're making more mistakes than Verstappen is. We've seen that. We've seen Norris making more mistakes early in the season. You got Saudi, you got Canada, where Norris made big mistakes. You got this weekend, Norris made a few small errors. You've got obviously Baku and Brazil, where Piastri made huge errors.
But this major error was the major of the strategy.
Yes, and also Las Vegas with the setup and getting the disqualification. That's 100% on the team.
Yeah.
So you've got Norris has lost 36 points due to McLaren failings, that are completely out of his control, and also some positions due to the strategy error at the weekend. So he's lost 40 points. He
would have guaranteed a 3rd as opposed to getting a 4th.
Yeah.
If
now, I think it would be now right now, without McLaren failings, Norris would be world champion. That's how it would be.
No, he wouldn't. He still would.
Yeah, he would be. He would have 36 more points than he's got right now. So Verstappen would be out of the picture.
Yeah, sorry, that's if you're
the engine failure and the Las Vegas disqualification, and the Piastri would be too far back. But equally, even with those failings, if Norris had been perfect, he would be world champion by now as well. By the same argument, Piastri would be world champion by now had it wouldn't have been for his failings. Yeah. To be fair, Verstappen would be leading the world championship right now had he not lost his head in the middle part of the season. Spain, for example, just an absolutely horrendous weekend for him. And he's had a couple of weekends where he just went missing. But, nobody's perfect.
Look, let's stop being McLaren.
Let's be honest here. At the end of the season, Max Verstappen is going to be the best driver of the season. That is without doubt. But I just think whoever wins the championship, it's probably the best team driver combination over the course of the season that has won it. That should be McLaren because they have built the best car over the course of the season, but it might be Red Bull because of the Max factor.
Yeah. I mean, look, the fact that they're 800 points compared to Red Bull on one driver, it's a bit
but you can also blame Red Bull for that.
Red Bull have been shocking.
With the way that they've been designing cars and the way that they've been chasing dark alleys and chasing down development paths that only Max Verstappen can deal with instead of actually building a car that's drivable. That's what's led them to this situation. And then their horrendous driver management program is what has put them in this situation. That's why they've lost the Constructors' Championship over the last 2 years. And it's only really Kimi Antonelli being a rookie and Ferrari being terrible and Hamilton just in a massive decline. Just going through his end of season just go missing again like he has done the last few seasons. It's only because of that Red Bull are in with a fight. I mean, they've got an outside chance of second, but it's going to be Mercedes second. But it should have been Kimi Antonelli, him being more experienced. They should be well and truly clear of Red Bull. And Ferrari should be ahead of Red Bull as well. But as it is, they're 44 points behind, which means, by my calculations, they are nailed in 4th place. They cannot pass Red Bull for third.
No, they are. They've nailed in fourth, and that's the end of that.
So, and Williams nailed in fifth.
Yeah, can we talk about Williams?
Fantastic from Carlos Sainz. That came out of nowhere.
What a drive. And yes, he had the car, but fuck me, he got a bit of luck. There was a bit of luck with McLaren being stupid, and he should have probably ended up in fourth. But wow, to keep Antonelli behind him all that way, to
optimize
break the car, and then keep Norris behind him as well.
It was a great qualifying, optimized qualifying, made a great start, made a few positions in the pit stop, and then after that, it's impossible to overtake. So all he's got to do is keep it on the island, which Antonelli didn't do. He's done a fab job. So that puts him one position behind Albon in the championship now, up to 9th. He's only 9 points off Albon.
Yeah, he's 8th and 9th, aren't they?
Yeah,
8th and 9th.
So 9 points off. He has got a chance of passing Alex Albon in the championship. That would be an incredible.
Look, that's amazing. Look, Williams have come on so far.
Yes, but they haven't developed the car since April. This is the crazy thing. Like, I don't know how they're in a position to get podiums at this point in the season. They should be clinging on to 5th place. But as it is, they got it guaranteed. They got a 45-point lead over Racing Bulls.
Yeah.
That's just mental.
Which means if by some weird world Racing Bulls get a 1-2, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
No. I think there is definitely a better team mentality there that has helped push them. Albon's slightly gone off the boil compared to Sainz,
when the car was better, he was better. But now the car's a bit more edgy. Yeah. I think he's gone off a little bit.
I mean, but Sainz has found an extra gear somehow. Whether these are just tracks he likes, I don't know. But I think that is such a strong team at the moment. And even Albon, who has gone off the boil, but understandably gone off the boil. And he hasn't plummeted. He's not at the back of the grid.
Yeah.
He's still 11th, 10th occasion.
Let's be honest, next season, we expect that Mercedes are not going to do a bad job, are they? No. So you look at the teams that have got Mercedes engines, obviously Mercedes, McLaren, Williams. So, and then obviously you've got Aston Martin and Alpine as well.
Aston Martin doesn't have.
Oh no, sorry, Alpine as well. Sorry, okay. Alpine. So, not Aston Martin. Yeah, they got Honda. So, if one manufacturer does a bad job, then Williams might find themselves in third in the championship. Yeah. I said they won't do as good a job as Mercedes. Obviously, they'll certainly do the best they could do realistically would be do as good a job as McLaren. But McLaren have not been ready to win a championship yet. That's why they've been failing so much. They weren't ready last year. They're not ready this year, but because their car's been so good, they have won championships. So they need to improve, and I'm sure they will do as well. So they may actually be ready to win the championship. It's very similar to Mercedes at the start of the turbo hybrid era. They weren't ready to win championships, but their car was so dominant that they had no choice but to win championships. It's only when they got to sort of 2017 where they were actually honed as a race winning organization where they could actually close out championships with strategy rather than, not because they didn't manage their drivers very well. They didn't manage their strategy very well in those first few years. So but back to Williams, they have got a good chance here of being third or fourth in the championship next year, and that would be an absolute success for them if they can.
I think
start this next step running, and
I think they're possibly being fourth, but that would mean Ferrari being a shitbox
or Red Bull.
Or Red Bull being a shitbox.
Yeah, that's what I mean. There is a non-zero chance.
I mean, what happens when Williams Sainz beats?
There is a chance that one of those teams does.
Oh, sorry, it's still a one-man team, no matter what happens, isn't it? So Max will still do well, but a job will be at the back.
Yeah, I think it depends. It might be an awful car to drive as well. I don't think it will be. Like Red Bull don't make bad cars. Let's be honest.
No.
So even without AJ,
but then this is now post Newey. The last car still had Newey influence.
Yes, but Newey's had some influence over
team principal Adrian Newey.
Let's just have a look at what he does next year for
Aston Martin. What the fuck is Aston Martin on?
Yeah.
I'm going to promote a really old man who has never managed a team done a bit of race strategy 30 years ago.
No, he's got the pedigree. He does know what he's doing on that front. But to be honest, the team principal role involves a lot of stuff that Adrian Newey should not be spending his time doing. Like he shouldn't be dealing with board meetings and like entertaining sponsors and all that kind of stuff. So unless it's just literally in name only.
I think like even his answer was that all I'm going to do is speak to you guys. That's all the extra. You know, so that's what he told to Ted. It's basically he's the face of it now.
Yeah, he's probably a team principal in name only. He's probably not actually doing the team principal job.
No, the other side of the team principal, but the trouble is everything is your other man.
Yeah, but the problem is that was Andy Cowell.
Yeah,
but now he's moved into like a strategic advisory role, like an operations strategic role. He's not actually CEO. That CEO position is empty.
No, he's now. It's basically the co-CEO, co-chairman, co-team principals. That's what it sounded like. Basically, he's gonna do all the marketing, the monetary, chasing the Honda, Aramco partnerships deal, and all that is what he's doing. The business side compared to the creative side, which is what Mr. Newey's doing. It's like a director and a producer in my mind. You know, it's the producer side is that he's doing all the money, the creative, you know, they have a say in it, but it's not. And then the other one is doing all the creative la-di-da, pretty machines driving around tracks type side.
It does seem like a very odd decision.
It is an odd decision, but what else can you do?
Employ a team principal, but you took the job better and leave Adrian Newey doing what he needs to do.
Or is that the conspiracy theory that Mr. Horner is coming into?
I don't think so. I think the only thing is if he would move into a CEO and shareholder role.
Well, I'm not going to rule that out. Possible. You know, that is possible.
That's what I mean. That CEO role does appear to be fairly vacant.
Stroll, Mr. Stroll, Daddy Stroll Daddy Stroll doesn't really care anymore. Like, oh my God, he does.
The amount of money he's put into it, I'm pretty sure he does care.
Well, he cares about the money and that, but he doesn't care about how he wants an exit strategy.
I wonder if he has now realised that his son is not the greatest thing since sliced bread. I don't know. Maybe.
No, because otherwise he'll be replaced.
Yeah.
Have they even got anyone lined up?
Well, he's obviously that's his drive until he doesn't.
Because in next year is the final year of Alonso.
It is. It's a funny year of his contract. He did say that it's up to him if he retires or not. And I think he said that if he's got a competitive car, weirdly he may stop at the end of 26. But if he's got a bad car, he may feel the need to continue. Yeah. So he just wants to finish on a high. He just desperately wants to finish on a high.
Yeah.
So I'm almost kind of quite hoping that it is a bad car, because then like just
keep going, just keep chugging.
It'd be quite funny if like the first Formula One drivers are racing their 50s since in the modern era. That would be quite funny.
How long has he got?
The oldest.
4 years.
Well, yeah, he's 45 next year, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he'll finish at 45 if he retires at the end of next year.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, there's still a Formula One driver older than me. So,
yeah. And what's the oldest driver in the modern era? Do you know?
In the modern era, it's Alonso.
He's already won that.
Yeah. I mean, like Mansell was 41 when he stopped.
Okay.
Kimi Räikkönen was 40 when he stopped. I think it might have been 41 when he stopped, actually, Kimi. But yeah. Prost was 40, maybe.
So he's actually won that by quite a mile. He's
I mean, you got like Louis Chiron was racing into his 50s, and so was Fangio and people like that. But if you're talking like since the 80s, then there's no since Formula One was actually serious and not just gentleman drivers.
Since Bernie Ecclestone's era.
Yeah, or even before that, to be honest. But yeah, certainly since Formula One got serious, it's like in the 70s and 80s. There's nobody been anywhere near as old as Fernando Alonso racing.
There we go. Look, I'm not even going to talk about Ferrari because I don't care.
No,
Or Alpine or any
no,
of those. They're like,
move on.
there's literally
The only other thing,
I
really,
don't know. Is there anything of note else to say?
I mean, it's just the fight for sixth. It's Racing Bull's got a 12-point lead over Aston Martin. So there's a chance Aston Martin might be able to close that out, but they've not really scored more than 12 points. I don't think maybe once this season they've scored more than 12 points. Haas, maybe if they have a strong weekend, might pass Aston Martin. Sauber just don't seem to have any pace anymore. So I think the championship for the constructors is where it is. I don't think that's going to change. The drivers' championship, the only positions that could change really there. I mean, Hamilton, long way back from Leclerc. Leclerc could pass. No, he couldn't. He's a long way back from Russell. So it's Antonelli can pass Hamilton. That's only 2 points now.
But yeah, everybody talked about Merck. They sort of didn't have a great week, did they?
Yeah, Russell did okay in the sprint. Antonelli did okay in the race until he didn't. So Sainz could pass Albon. Hulkenberg could get Hadjar. Alonso is just a point back from that. Behrman 7 points back from that. So there's a little bit of movement to have in that kind of 10th to 16th bracket, but nothing really important. Can Colapinto get a point?
Yeah.
That's the only other thing.
Can Colapinto get a point? The answer is no.
Probably not. So apart from that, there's not really anything else. The only thing really to say was what do you think is going to happen in Abu Dhabi for the championship? That's the only thing really left to fight for of any importance.
My wife's just got into her friend's car, but I don't know where she's going.
Oh.
Is she going, or is she just sat in the car and having a chat?
I don't know.
That's really weird.
She's not having a shit on your windowsill, is she?
No.
Okay.
Both of them should be at work, so they're claiming this as a work call. Anyway, I've probably just dumped my wife in there. What was I going to say?
Who's going to win the championship?
Who's going to win the championship? Like, Norris has a chance, and obviously a bigger chance. Piastri has a chance. I don't think. Does Max have a chance? It has to go all his own way, and the McLarens not to work with each other. And at what point do you call this? At what point do you go team rules?
I think the only scenario I can see any team orders coming into Sunday would be a scenario where Max Verstappen is winning the race.
Mm-hmm.
Say George Russell or Kimi Antonelli is running second because the Ferraris won't be.
Piastri in third.
Piastri in third, Norris in fourth. Now, in that scenario, if Piastri were to let Norris through, then McLaren will win a world championship, which Piastri was not going to win anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the only scenario I can see they're doing any kind of team orders. I suggested this on Grid Talk Slack, and then Tom Downey was like, "No, there's no way would he have would Oscar do that?" I'm like, I think he would. I genuinely think he would.
I think he would rather go to McLaren.
Yeah, like they've both said they've both got an opportunity to win a world championship, but one of them is going to be disappointed at the end of the year. So that's that's always been the case,
and it will always be the IOU.
I think it would be a very destructive environment in the team if neither of them won the championship. So I think Lando should see it out, but if there's a scenario where Lando has a bad race for whatever reason, if he's taken out or whatever, we saw it happen to Piastri at Abu Dhabi last year. If Piastri just goes out there and bosses it and wins the race, again, that's all he can do. If he wins the race, then I believe, if he wins the race, he's world champion, isn't he?
Who?
Because he's Piastri.
Oh no, but
only if Norris is off the podium.
Yeah, it's Norris.
He needs to. I think Norris needs to be like fifth or sixth or something. So, because 12-point gap, isn't it? Yeah. So he does need. He's 4 points off Verstappen, but so if Norris is not in the picture, I mean, if he just wins the race, it's like Vettel in 2010. Just go out there and win the race, and whatever happens, happens. So if Piastri can go out there and win the race, Verstappen and Norris fight it out for the podium places. They come together. Piastri's world champion. So that's all he can do. So he's definitely got a chance. I don't feel like McLaren can do anything in the way of team orders except pre-discussed scenarios where they say, if this kind of situation, if the situation arises where you are not going to win the championship, but by you moving over for your teammate, they will, then you do it. Yeah. I think that's the only scenario.
There probably will be some pats on backs and financial nudges to help things like that happen.
Potentially, yeah.
Either way. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, there would be a championship winning bonus as well, obviously, and
Yeah.
so I reckon, there would definitely be some big thank yous that way around.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, as I've said, Oscar Piastri is a generational talent. I'm a huge Lando Norris fan. I really want Norris to win this championship purely because I think it's going to be his only chance.
I think it's his only chance. I think Piastri's got it next. I think Piastri's got more chance of getting it next year.
Yeah, but I don't think McLaren will win it next year. That's the thing. I just can't see it on a, at the end of a rule cycle, maybe, but not the start.
But then who knows what this?
We don't know. I just think it'll be if it's a dominant power unit, then it'll be Mercedes that will win the championship, not McLaren, because McLaren aren't going to out strategize and out develop Mercedes with a brand new power unit. I don't think.
But this all depends on the Mercedes engine.
Oh my God. I'm so fed up with this argument. Let's not forget Oscar's only in his third season. I'm sorry. Lewis Hamilton won the championship in the second season. Max Verstappen was ready to win a world championship in his second season. The third season thing does not come into it. If you're in Formula One, you're in Formula One because you are one of the best 20 drivers in the world. Third season is not an excuse. Yes, Lando does have a lot more experience. Yes, Oscar is a generational talent who is still developing. If you're ready to win a world championship, you should be ready to win a world championship just by being in Formula One. Certainly in your third season. I'm sorry, Tom. I respectfully disagree with you on that one. So,
it doesn't matter. Like, Lindblad can come in next season and win the world championship.
Hamilton should have won the world championship in his first season, but he didn't because of a McLaren blunder. Oh, hang on.
Really?
And then he did in his second season when he didn't race probably as well as he did in his first season. His third season, he had a terrible season. Like he was making all kinds of mistakes. So I think if you're fast enough and you're in a good car, then you can do it. Yeah. Like we saw Vettel winning a race in his second season, his first full season. So like Vettel won a world championship in his third or fourth season in Formula One.
Yeah.
So what was that? 2010. So I think his third season in Formula One. So he was ready. Like, he was more ready in 2011, but he was.
We don't say this about any other athletics or anything. No. Oh, it's only their first Olympics. That means they can't.
If you're good enough.
If it doesn't matter, it's their first Olympics. If they're the fucking best, they're in it. But it's only their first time on a football pitch on a Premier League. So what if that happens? They're going to score a goal and they're going to win that game. If they have the chance. So, there's not many other sports where we go, oh, but it's only your first season. No, they're expected to perform. You fucking perform.
I'm not going to respond to Tom down his comments. Have a look in the YouTube chat if you want to figure out what he said. But I think we need to go now because we've been rattling on far, far too long. So I'll leave the fishing rod emoji for the comments. Right. I think that's it for now. I guess we'll try and do a podcast after Abu Dhabi. That would be good.
Well, it depends if Lando wins.
Yeah, if Lando wins, then we'll do a podcast. If he doesn't, then I'm going to go into hiding for a few months.
Yeah. And also, I'm fucked.
Yes. Oh, actually, because you've got a podcast naked, haven't you? So, yeah, you've lost a bet. It's guaranteed now. It was more than guaranteed now. He's got a 77-point lead over Albon, Kimmy. So,
fucking Albon.
Yeah, I hope your heating packs up. That'll be awesome. Right. Anyway, I need to go. So let's leave this.
I've got jacket potatoes in the oven. Love you. All. Bye. If I go naked, does that mean we have to flag it as a porn site?
Does that mean that people have to
So we won't be able to go on YouTube. We have to go on YouPorn.
Yeah,
and other porn servers are available.
Yeah, but also people would need a VPN to watch us outside of the UK because they won't want to sign up. Because apparently, apparently, I heard that you can't go on those kind of sites anymore. I don't know. Anyway,
you have to sign in, don't you, or something?
I